We've got something very exciting to take a look at here today, and that is the Four Nations Faceoff tournament. And there are some New York Rangers players who are already locked in to be going to this tournament as well, which I think it should be so much fun to watch, not only to see some of the Rangers players that will be featuring here, but this is the closest thing to best on best hockey we have seen in quite a while now. This is going to be so much fun to watch here. We've got Canada, U.S., Finland, and Sweden all in one little tournament here. It's going to be so much fun. We've got pretty much best on best. You are still missing, obviously, countries like Russia, Slovakia, Czechia, Germany, to name a few that are other, really great kind of hockey nations. But you do have four of the kind of top powerhouses, obviously not counting Russia there, in, Canada, U.S., Finland, Sweden, some of the best countries in the world at hockey. And you've got them going up head-to-head here, toe-to-toe, in a really fun tournament, I think. Obviously, this isn't going to mean as much as the Olympics are, for example, when, we've seen the best on best at the Olympics, but this will still be a ton of fun to watch here. We've got some of the top tier NHL players going, on Team Canada. You're going to see guys like McKinnon, McDavid, Crosby, Mikhail Makar in the back end there. And then for the States, you've obviously got, the Tkachuk brothers there. They're going to be a ton of fun to watch. You've obviously got guys like Austin Matthews. We've got Adam Fox, a Ranger on the back end there as well. So this tournament is going to be so much fun to watch. There's going to be so much talent there, and there will be some Rangers players featuring in this tournament as well. So in today's video, I'll kind of break this tournament here kind of down a bit, go into detail about some of the details about this tournament here, in case some of you don't know kind of when it starts, the rosters, and all that kind of fun stuff there. And then later on in the video, we'll kind of dive back into the Rangers side of things here and how this kind of ties in there with, some players obviously being already kind of locked into rosters there from the Rangers. So we'll take a look at those guys, as well as some other players who I do think have a possible chance of potentially making one of these rosters as well. So let's get right into it here. And this tournament will begin on February 12th and run until February 20th. So just over a week long there, and the games will be played in Montreal and in Boston there. So you've got two of the kind of top hockey markets in the entire world. They're hosting these games here. The championship kind of final game will be played in Boston on February 20th at 8 p.m. It's a Thursday night there. So I think it'll be a ton of fun to watch. So I am really, really excited to watch this. The official rosters have to be submitted by December 2nd, and then the kind of roster will be unveiled on live television on December 4th. So that should be a ton of fun to kind of see who makes it, who doesn't. Obviously, there'll be a lot of talk, I'm sure, around players that did and did not make it on all these rosters, but either way, it should be a really fun tournament. We've also got a kind of 20 skater limit there and 3 goaltenders. So there are going to be some kind of healthy scratches. You've got 3 goalies and 20 skaters for each team there. You've got your obviously kind of 12 forward lines there and your 6 defensemen. So, that's 18. So you've got kind of 2 extra spots there for, an extra defenseman and obviously forward as well. And then you have the 3 goaltenders there. So, the starter, backup, and kind of third string guy. And as you're seeing right now, this is the schedule for the 2025 Four Nations Faceoff tournament. And the big game that I'm sure most of you Rangers fans, most of you being American, I'm a Canadian Rangers fan. So I'm definitely excited for this game. And that is the U.S. versus Canada on Saturday, February 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's just going to be such a great game. It's also in Canada, in Montreal as well. So Canada, we're definitely going to have that kind of home ice advantage there. But either way, I think it's just going to be so much fun to watch. I'd imagine we're probably going to see Canada versus the States in the championship game there on February 20th at 8 p.m. Thursday in Boston. So that kind of championship game will be in Boston there, whereas the kind of round robin game between Canada and the States will be in Montreal. So I think it's just going to be very interesting there. This is also a round-robin tournament, so each team will get to play each other once, and then the top 2 teams, based on kind of the points there, will end up obviously moving on and playing a kind of one-game final there. There is no kind of third-place game there, so it is literally you play 3 games in the round-robin there. You play each team once, and the top 2 teams, based off the points, go on to a kind of one-and-done winner-take-all final, which I think is pretty cool there. Obviously, you don't want to have these players playing like a crazy amount of games there because this is in pretty much the middle of the NHL season and kind of getting towards playoffs there. But this is still going to be 4 games for, hopefully the States of Canada there. As a Canadian Rangers fan, I would love nothing more than to be able to beat the States in the finals. So I think that'd be a ton of fun to watch there. I'm sure obviously all you Americans who are watching this, who are I mean, most of you definitely are because, New York Rangers, obviously. But it should just, either way, it'll be a ton of fun to watch there. Obviously, I'm rooting for Canada, my country, to win. I'm sure most of you are rooting for the States because most of you are from the States there. That's what the analytics say for these videos. But I am just so excited. It's going to be so much fun to watch the true kind of best on best hockey for the first time in such a long time. I mean, we have not seen true best on best where we're seeing, Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon. I mean, we haven't seen that yet. So obviously, I think as a Canadian, I am so excited to kind of see what we can kind of come up here with a power play 1 unit with the talent that we have. And there's just so many great players on Team USA as well. I mean, so many underrated guys. I mean, Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes. Obviously, you've got guys like Jack Eichel as well, Matthews, the Kachuk brothers, Adam Fox, McAvoy. It's just going to be so much fun to watch there. I mean, the States definitely have the better goaltenders right now with Hellebuck. He's playing like his head's on fire. He's unreal this season. We'll probably have, I kind of want to see Logan Thompson in net there, but either way, it's just going to be so much fun to watch. And you can watch these games in the U.S. on TNT, ESPN, and ABC. And then in Canada, we can watch it on Sportsnet and TVA. So obviously, some of the big kind of broadcasting networks, not really surprising they're going to be on there. And now let's take a look here at which New York Rangers players have the opportunity to possibly make their country's roster. And let's also take a look at the 2 players who already have made their country's team as well. So starting off here, we'll go country by country, and we'll begin with Team Finland, who, as of right now, there really is only, one possible option for a New York Rangers player to make this team, and that is Kaapo Kakko. Now, I really wouldn't be surprised at all if he did make this team, and I honestly kind of think he probably should. I'm not saying he should be in a kind of top 6 role there and be, one of the key kind of contributors there, but with Kaapo Kakko's kind of overall play so far this season, and, he has been a decent threat offensively. He's got that two-way game. He's a fairly big-sized winger there. I think it makes sense there to at least have him as that kind of 13th forward because he is someone who, if an injury happened, could kind of slot up there into a kind of middle 6 role there possibly, or you could also have him in kind of that 4th-line role there, being a decent kind of defensive guy as well. So I think it makes sense there. He is a guy who definitely can kind of buy into that overall kind of team play and really kind of more just kind of really all around kind of well-rounded kind of players that Team Finland does kind of have and like to kind of use. So I think it would make a lot of sense there. I think he fits that kind of Team Finland play style. So maybe we do see him make the roster, maybe we don't, but either way, he definitely has a chance to do so, and I definitely hope he does. Now for Team Sweden, it really is only one player, and that player is already locked into that roster spot, and that is Mika Zibanejad. He was one of the original kind of 6 guys named to the roster. Every country kind of listed 6 players pretty early on there, and Mika was one of the players for Team Sweden. He may not be playing the best for Team Canada, but obviously he is kind of one of the bigger Swedish kind of hockey names right now in the NHL, so it makes sense why he'd be on this team. He is still, for the most part, a decent kind of two-way guy. I'm not saying he's playing, great kind of two-way game right now, but that's kind of the stuff that Team Sweden obviously would expect out of a guy like Mika Zibanejad, who, can be that possibly 2nd or 3rd line center. I mean, Elias Pettersson will probably be that number 1 kind of center, but, Mika can still be that kind of 2nd or 3rd line center there, play alongside some extremely talented players, and hopefully contribute in a positive way for Team Sweden. He's probably going to be one of the top kind of guys on that kind of forward core there. And, it's all about kind of what he does there. I mean, obviously he hasn't played great so far for the Rangers this season, and last season wasn't phenomenal, and the playoff run was not great at Mika, but this is the chance for him to kind of have a quick little reset mid-season there, go play for his country there, throw in that Sweden jersey. I mean, that feels a little different, I'm sure. I've never represented my country playing hockey, obviously. I'm not quite that good, but, Mika is a guy who has not played great as of late. Definitely seems like he's dealing with some mental issues, kind of confidence-wise and all that kind of stuff right now. So going to play for your country, he was one of the original 6 players named to his country's roster as well, so that's going to make him feel a little better as well. So hopefully he can kind of go to this tournament here, be one of the top contributors for Team Sweden for his sake, obviously, in Sweden's country's sake, try and get them to go on a little run here and get to the finals, possibly win the whole thing. You never know. I mean, goalie gets hot, roster gets hot at the right time. You never know what can happen there. So hopefully for Mika's sake there, he can have a great tournament and really kind of represent his country well and hopefully come back with a little more confidence and turn his season around. Now for Team Canada, Really, I only see one possible option, and that is no one other than Alexis Lafreniere. I don't really think he's going to get the call. I don't think it's going to happen, but he is someone who has the possibility of making the roster there. And with his kind of, 5-on-5, even strength scoring ability, I would like to see him on this roster. I mean, I'm a Canadian Rangers fan, of course. I want to see him make the roster. I think it'd be awesome to see, and he'd play alongside some phenomenal players, even a third or fourth line role, whatever it is. But at least being the healthy scraps there, being that kind of 13th forward, I'd be extremely thrilled with. Lafreniere's had a pretty good season so far. Obviously, signed that big contract and all that kind of stuff there. So I think this would be a really nice thing for Lafreniere there. He's still very young, still developing, still getting better, but this would be a really nice kind of step for him, and he also is a guy who obviously represented Canada for a while at the kind of youth and junior levels there, so maybe he does end up getting the call, which I definitely would be thrilled with. Now for Team USA, which I'm sure a lot of you are definitely excited to hear about. The one kind of guy who's obviously locked in so far, like I said, is Adam Fox. He was one of the original 6 guys named, and it was really no surprise at all. He is arguably the Team USA best defenseman. I would say as of right now, you could definitely say so, over guys like, McAvoy and Quinn Hughes. And, we'll see who he kind of plays alongside. But either way, he'll be alongside some other elite, top pairing caliber guy, I'm sure. And he'll have a pretty big impact on that Team USA squad, I'm sure. And the other kind of 2 guys, I don't think they're going to make the roster, but I wanted to name them here because there is the possibility that things can happen there. I mean, maybe a couple guys get injured the next couple or weeks or so, whatever, or week or so. Obviously not hoping for that necessarily, but maybe that's what opens up a spot for one of these players, and that is Vincent Trocheck and Chris Kreider. Kreider, first off here, obviously not playing like elite hockey, but he's still, scoring at a very good level so far this season, and he definitely is a guy who could possibly end up making the team, but I kind of doubt it. But he's got that speed, that two-way play. He can help kill penalties. He can be a lethal guy shorthanded. He can score goals at a still really great level. So maybe he does end up making this team for that ability there. He's also an older guy, a leader, been around for a long time, has a lot of experience at the NHL level and stuff like that. So it could be a decent kind of, 13th forward or 12th forward kind of thing there for Team USA, and having a guy like Chris Kreider on your 4th line, I think would be absolutely nuts. So that could work out pretty well for Team USA. And then we got Vincent Trocheck there who, like Kreider, maybe he fits in kind of that 4th line center role possibly. He's got that decent two-way game. Could be a bit of a pest out there, piss the other team off, contribute offensively, defensively, great face-off guy. So in general, I think either one of these players could end up possibly making the roster for Team USA. If they do, it'll be in a kind of, 4th line role, I'd imagine. But either way, they definitely could possibly end up making the roster. Anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, definitely hit that like and subscribe button for a ton more New York Rangers content. I post every single day. And also, don't forget to comment down below. Are you excited for this Four Nations Faceoff? Who do you think is going to win it all? And who do you think on this Rangers team could possibly or will end up making their country's roster? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for the support that you all show on these videos. The comments, I love reading them. They're so much fun. Even when you disagree or agree with my opinions, I don't care because it's a lot of fun to read. We're all hockey fans at the end of the day here. We all want to see this Rangers team win. And I thank you all so much for watching the videos. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next one. See ya.